height plays a huge factor in dating. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, but I don't think it's exclusive to dating, right? When you apply for a job, um, when you make friends, I don't know. It's not height though, right? It's lookism, right? Your physical appearance. It plays a role everywhere, pretty much. You are judged on your appearance, right? Everywhere you go. So, I mean, if you're good looking, if you're an attractive person, it's definitely a plus. It can be definitely a plus in a lot of situations. People view you a lot more favorably if you are either handsome or pretty, right? I feel like sometimes when you say something or when you share your idea, people tend to take you more seriously, probably, right? Like the exact same message, two people may say, but if one person is like good looking and I don't know, the other person is unattractive, the exact same message can be viewed and taken very differently, right? So, and it's, you may call it like people are shallow and whatnot, but I feel like it's just the way it is. It's just how our brain's wired, right? I think it's just how our brain have evolved over time to just be, I guess, attracted to things that are more physically attractive. I mean, even when you choose, I don't know, to buy a car or pets, right? Or flowers, anything you buy, clothing, right? Anything you buy. What is the first thing you notice? The first thing you notice is how it looks, right? The outside, the design of a car, right? What the pet looks like, right? So, yeah, like what's on the outside is the very first thing you notice. And often I feel like that's what I think can influence your decision the most sometimes, right? So, I mean, like, yeah, when you go out there to shop for a car, what is, for a lot of people, I mean, not everyone, but for a lot of people, the one thing that is most important is like, does it look nice, right? Do I like its design? No one wants to usually drive a car that's ugly, right? I mean, being ugly or being cool or looking cool, or like the car design, it's certainly subjective, but also there is more generally accepted subjectivity too, right? A lot of like people think that Ferrari or Lamborghini or Porsche, they look nicer, right? They look more like sleek, right? So I mean, it sucks still, right? Because I mean, let's say like people, like, let's say physical appearance for people, right? I didn't even choose to born into this body, right? I'm 5'6", and I didn't really choose to be born into this short height as a male, right? But I gotta deal with all the potential disadvantages that may come my way for being short, right? For example, in the dating market, being 5'6" is not something you are gonna appeal to the majority of the crowd or the female market, right? It's just the way it is, though, right? But certainly there's more, that there are traits that are more favorable for either man or female, right? So usually, yeah, females, they prefer tall guys, as opposed to short guys, right? Also, maybe facial symmetry might be one. Also, like that V-taper body, right? Things like that. And also maybe like full of hair. Usually guys that have full of hair, it's more favorable than guys with no hair. I mean, again, there is niche market for everyone, I think, even for guys with no hair or little hair. But it's just that generally, I think, there is certain trait that are deemed as more favorable, right? Also skin too, right? Like smooth skin with no blemishes is considered more attractive than skin with a lot of blemishes, right? A lot of pimple face, I don't know, volcano face, right? So yeah, there was a time I started taking cause my doctor recommended that I start taking vitamin D because my vitamin D level was very low. This was many years ago. So I started taking like 10,000 IU vitamin D my doctor prescribed for me, and I start to have all these like skin problems, like cystic acne around my chin, right? But I never knew what it was, like why I started to have all these cystic acne, because I never really had to deal with cystic acne before. And I don't know, I couldn't really make sense of, because I never thought that it could be vitamin D, but I think that's what it was, because as soon as I started taking vitamin D, that's when I started to have all these skin problems. But when I had like all this skin acne, it was pretty bad. It was like my whole chin area right here, like at my neck area, was filled with all these like hard, very deep cystic acnes, and they were painful, and like I try to pop them and it never goes away. You can't really completely pop them, and I didn't like that, right? And I'm pretty sure that cystic acne didn't really seem that appealing to a lot of people, right? So but it is what it is. I don't know if you guys have watched that movie. What is that movie? I forget the title of it. But I think Mark Wahlberg is that his name? I think he was in it. Yeah, he is in it, but I don't know if that's his name. The movie is about this professor, like, is addicted to gambling, and he comes from a very rich family, right? This English professor, and he pretty much blows away, or continues to blow away his parents' money, right? Millions of dollars. And in this scene, he talks about Shakespeare and his work, and he was saying how Shakespeare's, I may be remembering incorrectly, but like he was saying how Shakespeare's work was about rage, right? Like rage. And what is that rage? He was saying how that rage was about this arbitrary distribution of talent, right? It was the rage against this nature, right? This arbitrary selection and distribution of talent, across the species, right? So basically, when you look at human species, right? When you look across the people, some people are born tall, some people are born short, some people are born with maybe more muscular body, right? Some people are born into rich families. Some people are born with really good looking face. Some people are born unattractive. Some people are born with genetic disorders, autoimmune disease, right? Some people are born really, really healthy. And you may be asking, what did these people that are born with such a blessed trait do to deserve those blessed traits, right? Also intelligence too, right? Some people are born with high intelligence, like guys like Mark Zuckerberg, maybe Elon Musk, Einstein. Those people, their work is quite admirable, and I'm not trying to discredit their work or anything, but their hard work, right? I'm 100% they worked hard, but their hard work is not the only factor that actually made it possible for them to have such success, right? They were born smart. They were born with intelligence too, right? So they really pretty much hit that genetic lottery, right? Bill Gates, these people, they're really, really smart. Then I don't know if you guys have heard of this math wizard. His name is Terrence Tao. He's the youngest professor at UCLA, right? And I think when he was 3 or 5, he was able to solve calculus problems, right? I mean, 5-year-old, it's hard for you to say that, oh, it's because this 5-year-old kid put in so much work. That's why he was able to achieve such high success or math expertise at such a young age, right? No, that's not what happens, right? No matter what kind of effort or work you put in as a 5-year-old, you're not going to be able to achieve that level of expertise at a subject like math. He was pretty much born with really, really smart brain, right? But anyways, that rage, right? There's that unfairness factor, no? The unfair aspect of how, why, how is it that I am born into this short height, right? What did I do to deserve this short height? When I go to gym or when I go pretty much everywhere, I'm usually the shortest guy in the room, right? I mean, I'm pretty used to it, but just because it's something I'm used to doesn't mean that I don't wish I would had, maybe I was born into taller height, right? I mean, there's always this wish in the back of my mind, no matter how futile it may be, it's always in the back of my mind that wishing that I was taller, maybe a couple inches, right? Maybe 5'9", 5'8". The thing is that 5'6" is not even average, right? Yeah, so I think so that movie talks about this rage against random distribution of talent. Yeah, because when you look at it, when you try to look at it from a moral standpoint, I definitely the only conclusion you can conclude is that, yeah, like life is unfair, right? I guess some people don't. It's easier for some people to accept that fact that life is unfair, right? Than some other people. I think for me, I think I'm coming to terms with it. But yeah, it's been very hard for me to accept that fact, right? I mean, I still struggle with it a lot of times. I still grapple with it, right? But then also the thing is that when you like start to have that mindset about what's fair and what's not fair, the very first, I guess, it's very easy to fall into that mindset of that you are a victim in this life. And I think growing up, I definitely experienced that and definitely went through that mindset too, that I was the ultimate and perpetual victim in this life, because I felt like, I was put into this very disadvantageous body, right? As a male, 5'6". Also, I'm not muscular. Like I have very like skinny bones too, right? Like I don't know if you can see it, but so I think that's where I struggle a lot too. But lately I start to refute that belief, because I'm not really an ultimate and perpetual victim of this life, though. Just because I was born into like less attractive, with a less attractive face and short height, doesn't mean, I myself, like, it doesn't really mean that I'm a victim, right? Because there are other areas that I definitely am blessed with, right? That I don't really deserve to be given, but I was given, right? For example, living in America, right? Being able to immigrate to America from Korea, that's kind of like hitting a lotto too, right? There are a lot of people out there that would 100% trade my life with theirs, right? So what did I even deserve to move to America and be given all these opportunities to, right? Like, it wasn't something I deserved, but I was still given, right? So considering that, I mean, am I still a victim in this life? I don't think that's true, right? But I think it's that skewed, very biased and distorted perception of myself, and also hyper fixation on one thing I lack, right? Such as height and physical appearance, that make me feel like I am the ultimate victim, even if that's not objectively true, right? Also, like, what about my caring family, right? What did I do to deserve such a caring family, right? Some people, they are born into a very abusive family, or sometimes they don't even have a mom or dad. As soon as they're born, they are sent to orphanage, right? Yeah, orphanage, or they grow up in the foster homes, and they never get to see their mom or dad in their life, a day of their life, right? So what did they do to deserve that, right? And what did I do to deserve to be able to, grow up with my family, right? So there are just so many arbitrary factors and random factors in life, and if you just try to look at a life from a very moral standpoint of trying to use like certain metric as the I don't know, as a standard to measure whether or not, or how blessed you may be, or how lucky you are. I don't know. Just I think it's just not a healthy way to look at our life, right? But when you do, I mean, I feel like the only pitfall you're gonna fall into, or the trap, is that, like, yeah, you're going to come to conclusion that life is or that you are the victim in this life. And what do you do when you are when you see yourself as the ultimate victim in this life? I feel like you only have two choices: either kill yourself or kill another person, or kill other people, take it out on the world, right? It's like this mindset, okay, like, I'm the victim, I did not I didn't do anything to deserve to be a victim, right? And how is it fair for other people to have something I don't have? It's not fair. So I must take it away from them. That's the only way I can actually make it fair for everyone, right? So I think you're just bound to be really, really cynical and just nihilistic, right, when you fall into that kind of mindset. So I think that's where you really, really have to be careful, right? I feel like that's the only path people actually go to, like, when you start to believe that you are the ultimate victim in this life, right? I mean, I can't really understand why they would have such mindset, but at the same time, I think it's really necessary for us to have a more balanced lens to look at our life, right? I hope that makes sense. Bobby, everyone got their own potential, and if you achieve that, I think you can find satisfaction. Yeah, I think I don't know though. Like, I don't know if you can make such a blank assumption, or because I think there are people that are truly really disadvantaged, right? But yeah, I don't know. But it's just that, like, no matter how little you're given, if you fall into that victim mindset, it's a very dark place you're gonna end up in, right? So, yeah, I think you just should know, or you should try your best to really understand your capacity and your limits. For me personally, I think the very reason why I struggle also so much in my 20s is because I never truly understood my capacity and my limits. I really believe that, or I was told to believe that, life is limitless. It's all about what you make out of it, and you can't achieve anything you want. There's no such thing as intelligence. You just gotta put in the work. Just hard work is all you need, right? That's what I believed, and that kind of work ethic actually was what helped me to be, or to get into one of the top schools, right? But then that kind of same belief didn't certainly start to shatter, right? When I was still putting in as much effort as I did in high school and college, but I still start to fall behind. And I never really, at that time, I never really understood why I was struggling so much in school, even if I was putting in so much effort, right? I was just working it just as hard. So I was like pre-med initially, and all these science classes I was taking, like biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, I struggled in every single of them, right? Every single class. But I was just putting as much effort, but I was always wondering, like, why am I struggling so much? Why is it so hard? And I was going to tutoring, and I was asking like friends for help. I was going to office hours, but I could not get an A. The best I could do was actually a B, right? Most of the time. But then there were some other kids that like didn't struggle as much as I did, and there were actually, like few kids that actually they just absorb the material like a sponge, right? It was just so mind blowing, right? To see some of these kids that are truly talented. And that's when I realized, or I think I didn't realize this back then though, like when I saw those kids that were really smart and intelligent, I think I was still in denial back then. I was thinking, oh, maybe they I don't know, they got a head start. They maybe went to different school that gave them a much better education maybe. But no, actually, like in hindsight, they were truly smarter than me, right? Their brain was wired differently. The way they learned, the way they memorized stuff, the way they understood the material was just different, right? So these kids that are really smart. I mean, of course, there were kids that were truly putting a lot of effort too. But also, there were a lot of kids that were just genuinely just very smart, right? So, yeah, those are the ones that got accepted to a medical school and just. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what they could do. But yeah, man, I was so in denial though. Like I just kept telling myself back then that, oh, like there's no such thing as intelligence. Intelligence is such an arbitrary concept. We all are smart if we know how to utilize what we have. But no, I think there is such thing as intelligence. There is. I mean, like, when you look at sports, right? Like when you look at sports stars, soccer players or football players, basketball players. I mean, there's no doubt that all these players that are playing professionally, they put in a lot of effort. But, to say that there's no difference between maybe me and LeBron James, it's like, it's like denying the reality, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a difference in talent, difference in intelligence, just like there's difference in, physical appearances, right? So I know that like this may not be, I don't know, the most. I mean, I don't know, because when I was in my 20s, I really hated the idea of intelligence or IQ tests, right? I thought that was all bogus. That was all fake, right? I used to believe that like if you can train anyone to do anything, but no, I don't think that's my personal belief anymore. We're all different, So